like local branding, just kind of things you can do in your local community to be able to make sure they know you are their Tupperware connection, all right? So one of the things, like, so when I first started in Tupperware, I had a launch party like everybody else, right? And 5 of my closest friends were there. And let's see here, 3 of them dated party, 2 joined my team. And one of my parties canceled, right? And then the other party, I was so nervous because it was like in the nicest neighborhood, and you feel like kind of when you're broke, your bank balance is on your forehead, right? So I walked in super intimidated, and I just basically tried my best to get through the party, and I didn't worry about anything else. And then the last one I called was a pity party, right? She stood up in front of everybody at the beginning, and she says, I don't normally do these things, and almost kind of like shunning anybody that does do these things. And I was just like, great introduction, awesome. All right, so I didn't get any datings there either. So it was time for me. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't the end of my business. 30 days in, and I'm out of parties, and I'm out of business. No. And the fact of the matter is when you are determined, when you have a goal set in your mind, things like that, they're not going to stop you. You know, yeah, they might slow you down. It might be just a hit that you weren't expecting to get. But when there's a will, you can find a way, no matter what it is. And for some people, it is online. Right, Nikki? For some people, it's online. Some people, it's just kind of getting out and getting to know people. And that's what I did. All right, I didn't do friend finding. I didn't really know anything about that at the time. But I did know that I could go to local craft shows and I could start doing things like that. So I started looking in the newspaper. And I really wanted to be known in my local community as the Tupperware Connection. Because I didn't want, I think at the time I remember hearing a training and they were like, how would you feel if, you know, a Tupperware branded car pulled up in your neighbor's driveway to do a Tupperware party, and you're like, hey, didn't you know I sold Tupperware, right? So I wanted to make sure that my local community, especially my neighborhood, knew that I was selling Tupperware. So I did start looking in the newspaper, paying attention to when like craft show signs showed up in churches and things like that. I got into as many things like that as I possibly could. Now, when it comes to doing your business, you want to work smarter and not harder. And I will say that doing a craft show every single weekend, sometimes 2 times a weekend, sometimes several times a week, is definitely working harder and not smarter. You're going to make more money going and doing a party any day of the week than you are at any craft show that you do. You're just doing those to get the exposure. So your goal when you're doing those is not necessarily to sell off of your table. Your goal when you're doing those is to get into their homes, is to make that impression with them and be able to take it to the next level by being invited into their homes to be able to do a party, all right? Because then, you may think about it, a craft show, you're paying to be there. And you're there for 6 to 8 hours, typically, if not more. Sometimes it's several days, right? So when you go to a party, you don't have to pay to be there. You actually get paid to be there, right? You get paid based on the sales, and you're only there for 2 hours, right? All right, so you see, that's how you're working smarter, not harder. So that's your goal when you go do this. I've had people come into my team, and they're just like, they just book themselves solid of craft shows, and that's all they do. And I'm like, you know, but if you really want to build a business, you want to make sure you're taking that and cultivating it into the next step. It's great to have that exposure and to get customers, but the name of the game is not how many customers' phone numbers can I get, right? The name of the game is to meet people, make that genuine connection, and service them so that they know when they go to some other craft show and they say, do you have a Tupperware person? And they say, yes, I do. It's Ellen, right? Or maybe whatever. Maybe you have a cute little name for yourself. Nikki's a hockey girl, right? All right, so you have something like that. So, but that's something that you definitely want to do. You want to partner with local businesses. The community that I live in is a very strong small business community. And so they have some amazing local shops. Almost anytime I come here, pretty much there's something on my body that I bought locally at a local boutique. Because I love that. I want to support the people in my community. And I want to be seen supporting the people in my community. I want my community to be strong. And so you can shop local, but also support local and make a partnership with them. You know, I know people that what they've done is they go to a store. Actually, Top of the Line did this. They were talking about when they started doing the cooking parties, they started at a children's boutique. And they said, hey, you have children come here. They have these open play dates at this little boutique. They said, how about we come and we cook food for them? And they're like, sure. Smaller businesses are much more open to doing things like that. They love collaboration between businesses. They thrive on that. That is a great way for them to get local exposure. So talk to people. The worst thing they're going to say is no, right? And then just be like, great, well, here's my information if you ever do, because sometimes there's a resale shop in my town, and she will do, the previous owner, the new owner hasn't done it yet, but the previous owner would do vendor events to bring people into the store that normally wouldn't come and shop her children's resale shop. And so where they were located, she put tents in the parking lot, and we would be out there. So you never know. Just talk to them and be like, hey, I'm looking to do a collaboration with a local business. This is what I do. Do you know any local businesses that might be interested in letting me kind of come in and service their customers, right? All right, look into local networking events, right? There are lots of free local networking events. They're like happy hour type events where you can go and mix and mingle with other people, other business owners. That's a great thing to do. And let me tell you, I'll be honest with you, it's not comfortable for me either, okay? But sometimes to get the growth that you're looking for, you have to step out and you have to challenge yourself to be able to do those things. But it's a muscle, right? So when I first started in Tupperware, I was in a lot of networking events, right? And it was a muscle I was using all the time. I was pretty good at it. I got pretty decent at it, right? And then I moved, and then I had another baby, and then I was home with him, and I didn't have anybody to watch him. And then, and so just recently, I've had to start using that muscle again. Did it feel good? No. I called Jenny on the way to one. I'm like, oh my gosh, they want me to talk for 20 seconds. And she's like, Ellen, you do that every week. I was like, but you guys love me. I'm like, I don't know these people. All right, so I hope you love me. They got very quiet. But you know what I mean? I mean, you get comfortable in a place, but that's the way you grow, because when you stop challenging yourself, that's when you stop growing. And that was something that happened to me before Tupperware. My husband and I owned a local business here in Strongsville, right? And as much as I thought I was still continuing to challenge myself and grow, I wasn't. The customers came to me. I knew all their drink orders. I knew their names. I knew all this, and so, but I wasn't challenging myself. That's the reason why I couldn't do a speech in front of my dog, right? Because I remember talking to my sister. I was like, who am I? I used to be the girl that would be pumping everybody up and tell them listen, you can't put up with that from a man. And here I can't do a speech in front of my dog, right? And I was like, what happened to me? Why did it happen to me? I stopped growing. I backed myself into a comfortable spot, and I didn't even realize that I wasn't growing until I'm standing there not being able to talk in front of my dog, right? All right, so I challenge you, definitely look into your community and see about doing that. Take somebody with you. Have a safety net, right? Take somebody with you and go to an event like that. Business expos. A lot of times local communities do business expos. That's a great place for you to get local exposure. Check out your local chamber. Go into your local chamber office. A lot of times they're the ones who do the business expos. Sometimes you have to belong to the chamber to be able to participate, but that's up to you. I belong to my local chamber, and it's a great resource for you to be able to connect with other local business owners. And you want to be seen in your community doing good, all right? And so you want to get involved. You want to get involved with things in your community. You can start with your comfortable place, maybe your church, maybe your kids' school, maybe your alma mater, maybe wherever, right? And you want to donate to local fundraisers and charities, right? People are always looking for donations. You see them talking about, we have a spaghetti dinner going this, 2 weekends from now for this family that's fallen on hard times. Call them and offer a donation. Often people call to offer a donation. It doesn't happen. That will definitely make you stick out in their minds. This is somebody who wants to give back. She doesn't even know this family. She called me and offered a donation. And offer, be like, hey, I would you like a donation for your silent auction? They're like, wow, that'd be great. Do you need any volunteers that night? I can bust dishes. Be seen doing good. You take it one step further. Anybody can put a bowl set together with their card in it and send it off. Be the person that shows up in person and does it. Like, I have an hour. Can I help you set up? I have an hour. You don't have to donate your entire time, but just take it one step further to make yourself stand out. Volunteering in your local community. They're always looking for volunteers for various things in your local community. That's another thing you could go to the chamber and ask about. Hey, do you know of any things going on that need local volunteers? Our chamber runs Oktoberfest that's downtown. And so they're always looking for volunteers for things like that. And so it's a great way for you to kind of be seen as that person who shows up. That's significant. Because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if you're visible, they're going to remember you, all right? And then also, in our community, so you can take it even a step further. You can sponsor a bench in the park. Our community has adopted gardens all over town. So on the adopted garden, you just kind of take care of the maintenance, or you pay for the flowers that go in the garden. Sometimes you don't even do the maintenance of that garden. You just pay for the flowers that go in that garden, and the city comes around and takes care of them. There's even one in my neighborhood. But your name goes on there saying this adopted garden was sponsored by Ellen Lewis Tupperware, right? So there are lots of different things that you can do. You just got to start looking for them. You got to go out with this, with this mindset of, like, what can I do to make myself stand out? Because the funny thing is like, a lot of times people think they have to do something extraordinary in order to be able to stand out. But honestly, a lot of times it's just taking what you do every day and taking it one step further, right? If you're host coaching somebody, right? Taking it one step further and sending a thank you note before they've done anything for you, before you've made any money. That makes you stand out. Calling and making sure everybody got their products out of the box 30 days after the party. That makes you stand out. How much time does that take? You can text that. So those are the little things. That's why I'm saying, don't just show up and drop off your bowl donation. Say, hey, I have an hour. Is there anything I could do to help you? Even just asking. They may say no, but even just asking makes you stand out as somebody who really cares, not just somebody who is trying to offload this set of bowls. It's outdated color, right? So it's really important to be able to do that, because you want to be the person in your community that they think of when they think of Tupperware. So I think we